Hi guys, welcome back to the New Parent 101. This week we're going to continue our series on getting your child to sleep. So I've already done one video on getting a good bedtime routine, how you're going to do that, and you can find that video up there if you'd like to watch it, and the link will be in the description as well. Today I'm going to be looking at positive sleep associations. So essentially all that means is how you can encourage good habits in your baby to establish a good circadian rhythm earlier on. So the goal is to be able to get your baby to self-soothe independently. And as we sort of discussed last time, Goodlin-Jones, Gaylor and Anders found out that if your child can self-soothe by the age of 12 months, then they're going to be much less likely to have problems sleeping going forward. And while at the moment, if your child has bad sleeping habits, it's so annoying as a parent because you're up all the time with them during the night, there has been research by Bathory and Tomopoulos, I think that's how you say it, to suggest that it's not just these short-term problems that it's going to cause, and that it can lead to poor performance in school and substandard behaviour going forward. Now, I know that sounds really scary, but it's just really to highlight how important it is that you get your baby's sleeping habits down now. So that leads me quite happily onto the next part of our sleep. So that then leads me quite happily onto the next part in our sleeping videos, which is talking about circadian rhythm. So when babies are first born, they are not born with the same hormones inside of us that tell us when it's time to go to bed and when it's time to wake up. This sleep-wake cycle, also known as the circadian rhythm, responds to the changes in light in our environment to make sure that we don't sleep for too long or not enough. So new babies, they don't have this. And the two important hormones that you're going to need to remember for this video are melatonin, which is the hormone that sends us to sleep, and cortisol, which is the hormone that wakes us up. Where melatonin and cortisol in the past have been known as the happy and the sad hormone, they are also used as part of our circadian rhythm to get us to go to sleep and wake us up. So there's been a lot of research as to when babies start producing these hormones, and roughly, from what I've read, it's about 3 or 4 months old. So that means for the first 3 or 4 months, you need to be teaching your baby how to sleep because they cannot do it themselves. Either way, the research says that babies by 6 months need to have a really well-established sleeping pattern for them to then go forward and continue to sleep well. Now, don't freak out if you've got an older baby who isn't sleeping correctly. You still can establish these sleeping patterns. It's just going to take a little bit more perseverance. The fact of the matter is, the earlier you start and try and get your baby into a routine, the easier it is to establish one. So from all of the research that I've looked at, I have established 5 key things that you need to do to establish a good circadian rhythm and therefore give your baby the best chance at sleeping. So number 1, during the day, get as much light in the house as possible. Open all the curtains, all the blinds, and make it light and bright and airy. Just like at night, you're going to do the opposite. Once you've decided that is bedtime, say it's 7 p.m. in our case, all the curtains get closed and it's lovely and dark. It might be worth investing in some blackout blinds or some blackout curtains like we did, because this is the best way to teach your child what is the difference between night and day. Yates found this is the best way to promote a normal and healthy circadian rhythm in your little one. Number 2, have you ever heard the advice, never wake a sleeping baby? Because when they're asleep, that's when you're going to have your downtime. Well, it's just not true. You know, when you have far too much of a lie-in in the morning and then it takes you ages to get to sleep at night, well, it's the same for babies. If they sleep too much during the day, they're not going to sleep at night. So you definitely wake that baby. As a general rule for a newborn baby, look for no more than an hour nap in the morning, 2 to 3 hours for a lunchtime nap, and no more than 1 hour in the afternoon. I can't tell you exactly how to do it because every baby's different. So if that doesn't work for you, play around with it. Let your baby sleep more on some days and less on some other days and see how they sleep at night. If you start putting this into practice early, then it means you've got time to play around with how much your baby should be sleeping. And as a general rule for us, because bedtime starts at 7:15, we do not let baby sleep past 6:15. Otherwise, she's not going to sleep at night. Number 3. Or you want to get that hoover on when the baby's sleeping, turn the TV up loud. You want to get them used to sleeping in noise. Can you sleep when people are hoovering? Can you sleep when the TV's on really loud? A baby is just a little person. Now, that's not to say that you can't have a little bit of noise, like white noise does really, really well, or lullabies. But realistically, if you're blaring around the house with the hoover, that's no good. Your baby's not going to sleep. And this is even more important during the night. If your baby wakes up for anything, whether that's a nappy change or whether that's a feed, you do it in the quietest environment you possibly can make with very dim lights. This is the night light I use. It's just a little red light and it's so dim, but it's bright enough that you can feed a baby and change a baby and comfort a baby, but it's not so bright that it's going to be waking your baby fully up. Minimizing sleep disturbance has been found to be really beneficial for helping babies settle back to sleep more easily. So yeah, during the night, talk in whispers, really dim lights, don't really interact all that much with baby. I'm not saying completely ignore it, but no giggling, laughing, playing, talking to them normally. You don't want to do anything that's going to stimulate them to wake up. Number 4. When they are awake, tire them out. When your baby's adequately stimulated, they will become tired. So personally for me, I am an ex-teacher, so I planned my entire day to a T, and it's just exactly the same now. In times when I know she's going to be awake, I will have activities planned. Playing on the baby gym, sticking her in the sling and doing the chores, reading books to her, tummy time, having a sing-song, like the list goes on, okay? There are so many activities that you can do with a newborn baby. They are so easily stimulated. But the point is that you need to do that to tire them out. Creating time during the day for activities encourages a good basis for consistent sleep. Okay, number 5. More than one study has found that consistency in a bedtime routine helps babies settle into a sleeping pattern much more easily. So those are the best 5 ways that I've found from the research to help teach your child how to tell the difference between night and day, and therefore encourage their circadian rhythm to develop normally. So when should you start the 5-point plan? Well, newborn babies tend to sleep a lot of the time. So don't stress about creating this perfect sleeping habit from day one. But what you can start doing is small little things like opening and closing the curtains depending on what time of day it is. If you're finding this too difficult with your little one, then just implement 1 or 2 things. If you can't get a routine down, then just stop making noise in the middle of the night, or stop letting your child sleep while you've got the Hoover on. Felicity was just 5 days old when we started trying to teach her the difference between night and day. So it is best to start it early, but like I said, don't worry if you haven't done so. Just start it when you can and implement as many of these as you can. So there you have it. Get your baby in a good sleeping pattern by encouraging a healthy body clock. Let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions or questions, and let me know if the 5-point plan worked for you. You can get me on Instagram, on TikTok, or you can go on my website, thenewparent101.com, if you have a question yourself that you want to ask. Thanks very much, and I'll catch you next time. Happy parenting.